Hi, hello everyone. Today is August 10th, and we're here on the Earth Nouveau Hub. And today we're talking a little bit about the Lion's Gate post operative and self empowerment. So, one of the things I notice from the Lion's Gate energy is that I really set some new intentions for my business, right? Setting intentions around more empowered people coming to see me. So instead of, people who want the magic pill, right? The intentions that I've been setting are people who are ready to, dig in and do the work, right? And be empowered within themselves, who are really ready to go through that phase. It looks like.
I think that's really a good thing right now because when we message back and forth and we kind of mentioned this, I was like really being pushed by our higher self to bring it forth and encourage how important it is for us to empower ourselves and to look within self instead of outside of self for that power and to empower ourselves like Tanya was just saying by saying no. I invite more people into my life. I invite that prosperity. I invite those things that will allow the best to come forth in me for other people. To me, it just seems like that's been building and building and building for the last year or two or three or whatever. But that it's especially with the craziness going on around the world these days is to instead of looking for someone else outside to come and save us, we've got to stop and understand we're connected up to our cosmic God source, and that is a line for us to tap into. And so that's my little mini take on that right now. Anybody else want to tag on?
Hi, Cynthia. I see that you popped in. You guys, this is my friend Cynthia who does amazing blueprint work, and there she is. I know she probably won't be able to
Hi.
stay, but we're just
Welcome.
talking about empowerment and self
Morning.
empowerment.
Hi,
Hi.
Cynthia. This is
Hi,
Lana.
nice to meet everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Tanya, for inviting me.
Sure.
Yeah,
Glad to have you.
thank you.
Yes, it's always good to see another face.
Absolutely.
Hey,
How about you, Alfredo?
yeah. 1 second. Well, all over the place. 1 second. I just don't want to be half present when I'm giving an answer here.
Mhm.
It's being present is really a big thing too. Like we're here today, we're on Zoom, we've got lots of people here, we've got stuff going on, but being able to be attentive to what's going on, I think we're being called to do more of too. Being, we say be here now, be present, but really, be present. Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, like pretty much what you were saying, like just going to ourselves for power and potency, because yeah, like it's so easy to just be like, oh, like a habit, like let me listen to Andrew, let me listen to this person. Like every day I just keep bringing more stuff in. It's like a lot of stuff I already know. I know this stuff already. Just why do I keep just listening to it over and over and over? It's just like just sit down and accumulate my own teachings. That's why I love the breath mastery. So I've been able to focus more on my breath lately, which I love, because the breath mastery, you get to this state where you can channel in all this stuff in this super space when you're like master the breath. And that's what I've been focused on going back towards them too, because that's where I'm able to get all this precious, stuff that I gather, in this special space that I go to with the breath. And get all the super healings and whatnot. But I've been able to focus on that more now. So just disciplining myself, quit going external, quit going for information, quit doing all these things, just focus on physical fitness and being fully embodied in the moment. And the breath, physical fitness, running, whether it's running, dancing, stretching, even playing video games with the kids, just constantly focusing on breath. And I even got myself, because I haven't been able to focus on the breath, I've noticed, because I used to be so disciplined about this pattern, like, okay, every 30 breaths we do this, every this we do that. And I haven't been able to do that, especially with the new energies that are here, whatever it is. I haven't been able to go back to that old method that used to work. So I was like, all right, so I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna make it work one way or the other. So I brought myself this little, it's called a Gym Boss Charge, but I've set it for a timer. So you have like 5 minutes of, nonstop circular breathing. And then it'll have like a 1 minute pause where you can just, do your biggest breath and then release and do the 1 minute pause and just embrace that. And it's great because I don't have to keep track of time. I don't have to be counting the numbers of how many breaths I did, because I lose track of that stuff. I constantly lose track of, because I'm thinking about this, thinking about that. And they're like, and it's like, oh yeah, big breath. It just keeps me like focused on the breath. I want to be breathing all damn day, all damn night, just breathing nonstop, just that's the full conscious awareness mastery, That's basically what I've been diving deep as I can into right now.
Did you
Simple as possible.
did you take a class with someone for the breath work, Alfredo, or is that something that you've just developed on your own?
It's something I had my own personal experiences before I even, got into meditation and mastery. So I had personal experiences then I got into Wim Hof, and I started doing advanced heart meditation when I had mastered like the Wim Hof breathing. So I was like transporting to all these different places in the morning. Every fucking morning was like a mini mushroom trip. And it was just like, so I get like these mini, I was like, oh my goodness. And then I get like these super channels, like, oh yeah, just riding like crazy. So I love that space. It's just this glorious, like micro dose super trip. Like, it's just an awesome way to start the day, because I can't be tripping all the time. That's just unreasonable, It's a sacred medicine. It's not to be used and abused, So for me, breath is that medicine. Running is the drug. Breathing is the medicine. It's all the, yeah.
Well, using that device too, that would take, so many people when they meditate, they go, oh, I'm going to meditate for this many minutes or this. And then they're always going back to, well, what time is it? How long has it been? And so the whole experience is broken up by that thought of time, And so I personally, I think that's a marvelous kind of tool for anybody to access if you're going to do that. And you're not just doing it until you're done, because it really allows your beingness to, leave that to the side and not have to attend to it. So I think that's a great tool to add to it.
Yeah, indeed.
Absolutely. So who else has tools that they use for self-empowerment? Hi, Jen. Nice to see you this morning.
I was running late. I had chaos. I do I know that there's more than one other Reiki practitioner here. I do the Reiki empowerment exercise every morning after yoga and meditation. That really helps me get grounded in my body and centered and feel like I have that projection forward.
And what does that look like for other Reiki practitioners?
The Asui method is to use the Daikomyo and Shogure and then call in divine presence, anchoring that into your earth body. And so I do that 3 times, and then I do the just for today, I'll be grateful. Just for today, I will not give in to anger or fear. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. I have a couple other things that I add to the 5, I think, that are standard for Asui, but just things that I want to reinforce for myself on a daily practice.
Great.
The breathing method that Alfredo was talking about, I have found for doing hypnosis clients and Marconics clients, that really helps them get still in their body. Minds are so overactive that it can be hard to slow them down enough to get into a nice, relaxed state. And so, six count breath in, hold for 6 counts. It is a counting method, Alfredo, which you said you had found a way around, but just that cyclical focus on the breath really helps to oxygenate the body and settle them into their physical body, and counting distracts them from the busy mind. And so I have found that that's helpful for people that come in that are really fidgety and not in their body.
Great. Hi, Marissa.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to
Morning.
see you today.
What's up?
I'm more landed here today, just sleepy-ish.
We are talking about self-empowerment tools and tips and techniques, things that you use that really help you, stay in your body, stay grounded, that help you feel empowered.
Yeah, I would say for me, mine changes every day. I don't do the same thing every day because I would get bored of that doing it. So I come up with different things to do. So, some of the things I do, of course, before I get out of bed, I say prayers for the day. And I've been doing, the heart meditation. So I'll either speak it out or listen to it. I have a drum. I have different kinds of drums that I play, or pining forks that I'll use. And I'll have a yoga bolster, those like long bolsters that are thick. I love to do this in the morning because the sun comes through my skylight, and I lay on that and I just open my arms and just let my heart open to the sun. And then I wait until it actually moves out of my thing for it to do that. Yeah, I do altar. I kind of tend to my altar that I have. Candles are great. I love the tall candles. I use them outside. I also go outside and have an altar outside that I tend to that. And I use those, I call them church candles, that they stay lit all the time, even during the night. I don't, blow it out. But yeah, that's what comes to my mind right now that I do. Of course, walking, exercise, stretching, qigong. I kind of put that in there. I just do a YouTube of that. But Alfredo's getting me into this breathing now. Alfredo, thank you. And Jen too. It's something that I don't do. It's, consciously.
Right.
Yeah. So thanks for that.
It amplifies all your practices, amplification of everything, meditation, anything.
Yeah. So even before out of bed, that would be awesome. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for me, before I get out of bed, I, wake up and try to tune in to the dream space and then release that energy, do some breathing. I always do a crystal card draw. So I'm working with different crystals every day, right? And with any, I think, divination deck, it helps for me, it helps bring in the energy that I need to set myself up for the day. So I do a little meditation on that, and then ground, align with Mother Earth, align with the sun, and then I'll go out for the walk with the dog, and make sure, to just spend some time with the sun, and feel those sun rays on my head, in my heart, so aligning that, my heart with the heart of the sun and the heart of the earth. But I found all different types of ways also to feel empowered, right? Through food, right? Through creating something. If I'm creating a class or, something digitally, that's always really fun to get that accomplished, right? It feels really empowering to complete something like that. Dancing makes me feel really, really self-empowered. It helps me release energy and, feel really good. Cooking is a great way to do that. Grounding, traveling. Like I have the picture of Maui up that you can see in the background. So that always makes me feel really, really empowered when I'm there. Yeah.
It's empowering looking at it behind you.
Yeah, and then that's a nice ray of
It
light,
is,
right?
it is. And you got that
Yeah.
like right above your head, and it's like a reminder of going up.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful. I'll learn how to do that one of these days.
Cynthia, I know you need to pop out, so do you want to say anything about self-empowerment?
Well, so again, thank you for having me. It's really nice to be with everyone and this community. And, but it really makes me think about how I need to add empowerment tools, to be honest with you. I've got to practice and breathing and yoga, but I thought, wait a minute, I think I need to create an empowerment practice. So this is just really helpful. Isn't it so funny? You're like, duh. And so I'm excited about putting one together, thinking, let's see, from scratch, what could I develop, and so it's really been fun with all the, light bulbs going on. So that's what I've got to, offer, but, and also just thinking about the things that scare me, and just as of late, as I'm looking at fears about maybe, being more visible in the world or et cetera. And I'm thinking that nervousness or just, even being here with this community, I feel empowered because I'm like, oh, I'm with like-minded people. Oh, a little inch forward. And so today makes me feel, I was a little nervous, and just being comfortable here, I feel kind of energized. So I think those two things, for me is just being nervous and doing it, and then having fun developing an empowerment practice. So this is really neat. Thank you.
Yeah, and
Everybody.
I thank you. I
Yeah,
think
thank you.
that's a really great way to say it. We all need to develop our own practice, right?
Like,
With tools that work for us, right? And I
yeah,
hope that we can all inspire whoever else is listening to this to,
yeah,
create something that works for them.
yeah.
And Cynthia, that your statement is one of the reasons I suggested the topic with Tanya when Tanya messaged me and said, do you have an idea? And I had moved back to a state I grew up in, and I didn't know it, but when I took the apartment, the guy above me was a stalker. And he started coming into my place, and what started happening is he started entering my psychic space, and I got so I didn't trust my own inner guidance. I would try to avoid this guy, and when I would go this way, I thought he was going that way, but I'd run right smack into him, and so it's very necessary. It became like a post-traumatic stress disorder type of thing. And when I met Andrew in 2017, one of the reasons I went was trying to deal with the sounds, but also the stress. And so what I found is that sounds became a trigger because I was always having to listen so closely because he was you know, such a hard situation. And so, you know, empowering yourself, I found that I had to like start to rewire my reaction to sounds, you know, and so I would empower myself by singing light language, by making up light language, you know, revocations, by singing with the wind, singing with the birds, playing my drum, playing the flute, making art, writing, cooking, like Tanya was saying. I would find all these other, and then the other things that I added to it is that when I was asking or trying to tap into a strength, I really focused on not needing someone else to attach to, like not needing a politician to save me, or not have a God come in and save me, or not have a therapist come in and save me, but remind myself that if I could allow myself to tap into me, that there were lots of things that were there to help me, and remind myself that this was simply a trigger, an outside thing, and that if I don't feed an outside situation, it can interfere with my resonance. I mean, it may happen, but it won't interfere and it won't take away my ability to function. And so empowering for me meant not just the tools, but why you use it and why it's so important to claim it for yourself, you know, that you within yourself, you know, that those multi-layer self that goes up to the cosmic form has everything that we need if we allow that flow to come through. So like Tanya was saying off her different things that she likes to do. And I go, yeah, that one too. Yeah, that one too, Tanya. Yeah, that one too. And, you know, what I found is that if you go to those things that make you feel good, that make you feel wow, that make you feel happy, that make you feel joyous, those are the things that tap you into your own empowerment, you know, and it can shut off the monkey mind, as they say, you know. And so, you know, like a lot of times when we're doing the Zoom, and sometimes, you know, occasionally there'll be a trigger in there, either someone or something that's being said. And so maybe you'll just get the, you know, like today I've been holding selenite for the last couple of days. There it is. Trying to find out where the camera is here. And, you know, just been like actually just kind of holding it across and like letting it go across the front of my chakras, and even setting it just down so that it's like starting at the root going up. There's lots of things that you can do, but empowering yourself, I believe, is giving yourself permission to use all those wonderful gifts or all those wonderful things that you're naturally attuned to say, yeah, I deserve to be here. I deserve to be prosperous. I deserve to have that community support and be able to touch other people and let them touch me. And I believe in my own power. I mean, just because you believe in your own power doesn't mean that you discount everybody else's magical power here. I mean, you know, we all have our minutes when we wish that, you know, somebody would say something to us or whatever. But I mean, every single one of us here has gifts uniquely for us, or combinations of those things that creates our own rainbow for everybody else to experience. And so you coming today and you saying that, I said, yes, she's one of the reasons the subject came up, because, you know, self-empowering is the way we can heal, you know. And when Jen was talking about getting her clients out of their monkey mind, it's you quiet that and then they can tap into their selves, and then they can hear what you're trying to say too. So I thank you for coming today, Cynthia. Really.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's really, my heart feels so good just being in this community and taking a leap, right, of faith of other people, and, you know, an answered prayer that, you know, there are people there are people that I can feel safe with, that I
and
can.
they're waiting for you, waiting for you. Waiting for
Glad you're
Yay.
here.
Yeah, yay, yay.
And that goes for
Gosh,
every
thank you.
one of us, you know? Everybody's waiting for us to join the party, waiting for you to join the party. And like Jen with her sigils, you know, she's part of that party on that other level of the digital world, you know? I mean, every one of us, it's like, I've been waiting for you guys for the last 2 years. It's like, wow, you know?
Yep.
Marissa, I saw you pop in.
I
Do
do
you want
too.
to talk about self-empowerment? There
Hi,
she is.
Marissa.
Oh, well,
We
you're
can't
muted.
hear
You're
you.
muted. We can't hear you.
Take your mute off.
There we go.
Thank you. Sorry. I was trying to get to a well-lit space. I was like, oh, it's too dark over here. I really liked a lot of what was shared and what I caught. I'm very into the sun and letting the sun empower me. It's one of my great helpers. Well, I think all of nature is, but sun as that great reminder of that nourishment. Always having that nourishment. It's up to us to just like get into the light and go to the light. I'm very into visual reminders, just like art pieces all around my space, that uplift me, that nourish me. I when I wake up in the morning, I tend my schedule is like early AM thing, so it's like kind of one of those go. So get something to work with my system, right? So I do my whole getting ready thing that's like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then I get on the road to get to work and I start my recordings, and each day what I put on is different. But most of the time it's my pre-recorded recordings from Andrew's work along with prayers that just help me get into space, including forgiveness and various prayers that just take me through the steps, and then it's semi-hypnotic and I'm kind of doing my thing, but at the same time it's such a centering force. Yet there's times where I too much stuff is going on in my mind, and although that's supportive, sometimes I need to play. So then I'll bring in some playful music or playful revocations that are not my own recordings, that just like it's a different vibe. So it's still like the work, but the more playful way. Um, and then sometimes it's like, no, like I'm too into that. So even removed even further from like the actual work. And then it's just like playful, uplifting music without the work yet totally shifting my energy. So noticing what fits where I'm at that moment. And sometimes it's just like what's gonna uplift me is just the music that's gonna make me go boom, 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 or sometimes it's just playing around. But music is a great medicine that I could always use with the lovely headphones. And sometimes I'm in this space and I need a little bit of a bubble, and I'm interacting and being with others. um yeah, the music or whatever I'm listening to, sometimes it's invocations, revocations, that helps me to keep myself and my center wherever I'm at. So it's one of the tools that I use the most, music and sound. But those invocations, the pre-recorded stuff, I love that stuff because I can put it on anytime. um just to get going. And nature is my hugest medicine. So sun is a reminder of that. But when things get like sticky and icky or a lot of stuff is happening, like prayers and stuff and invocations are great, but having movement while you're processing and going through stuff, it just like allows the channeling and releasing and shifting of energy, the recalibration of our body to whatever is going on, and is just so supportive. Sometimes like, no, I don't want to go out there because I'm like a little baby in a little cocoon. But then he's like, ah, I'm this little, this stuff is happening. Going out into nature, like even like I'm dragging myself out there, like pulling myself out. But when I go, it's just like, thank you. So thank you. That is just so supportive. And one of my things, it's just going to a local park that has a lake, and walking lake laps around the lake, and going in a counterclockwise direction. So recognizing it was like a thing that I just noticed I was doing. I was like, oh, I tend to go in counterclockwise directions. Okay, so as I'm coming here, I'm releasing and allowing just like the osmosis of my energy to go to earth and all around. And at the same time, I'm uplifting myself through releasing, and then I am also bringing it in. But at the same time, I'm just dialing and releasing what needs to be released with all this lovely earth that's here to support me. And that is like earth is always here, and I just love that she's so here for us. That's about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Yeah, I love
Marissa.
that. I think it's really interesting that a number of us have talked about coming from that place within, right? These practices get us back right within our center, right within our own direct connection. And no matter what we're doing that's coming from inside of us, we're always going back, right, to that wonderful direct connection.
So I didn't get a chance to speak, so I
Mhm.
will take this chance here now.
Yes.
Can
Take
you
it.
speak up a little bit, Lana?
Okay, can you hear me now?
It's a little better.
That's better, or should I raise my volume up? Well, the volume is pretty high. Okay, so I was listening to all of you speak about how you empower yourself, and I like everything you say, and some of them I do, add to my practice, and I change things up every day. Um, but nevertheless, it's a daily practice, and we know that we all do that that are here. But I want to add something I was thinking about. What I should add to everything else that was already said. And one of the things that I um, have worked with at times where I feel that uh, my experience in the reality was being denied me, either because something has stepped in the way of my experience to complete my experience, or I'm being cock blocked, you know, by something or someone. And then what I have done or realized that worked and worked really well was that I empower myself by saying that um, no one shall deny me of this experience. Say, for example, I should have an experience with another person, and this is just hypothetical, right? I'm saying, but then someone else stepped into the way to deny me that experience or friendship or something like that with that other person. Um, and I realized that I'm not going to have this experience anymore because this other being is stepping in the way. So what I realized that one of the things that you could do is that you can deny um, that well, not, I shouldn't say deny, you can say that you do not consent that your experience with that other individual be denied you, because this is your experience to have, and because it's your experience to have, nothing and no one shall step in the way for you to complete your experience. And this is empowering you, and you're telling the universe, I need to complete my experience, and therefore nothing shall step in the way. So you empower yourself by not consenting to it, or giving that tacit consent away. And so that really works when you come from your heart space, not because you want to be a wicked tyrant against the other person. No, it doesn't work if you do that, because you'll fall victim as well. But when you come from your heart space and you know that was supposed to be your experience, and this is a universal connection that sent you here to have this experience, and it's all a pure experience, and you're coming with a humbleness from your heart, and you're saying, yes, I am supposed to complete this experience. I'm supposed to have this experience, and no one shall deny me of this. Then it works for you. And this is how you empower yourself to complete your journey here. And I found that this really works. But it's got to come from your heart space.
Mhm.
And I wanted to share that.
Yeah, Lana, if I can just chime in on that, one of the things that you're doing too is you're taking your vibration and you're change it from one of being almost a victim, you know, and you're
Yes.
saying, no, I don't want to resonate with that vibration any longer. I want to resonate with connecting, with having an open communication. So what you're saying is that you're empowering yourself to change your frequency, that you're no longer willing to accept this other frequency that is disrupting you. So that's wonderful because,
Yeah.
you know, that technique in itself that is something that really saved my life over the last couple of years of not going crazy with this stress, you know. So you're actually saying to the universe and to yourself, I no longer want to resonate with this. I don't want this in my field, you know. And so you're actually changing your own dial on your frequency radio dial. And so
Yeah.
congratulations.
Because
That's
yeah, you're saying I do not consent to this type of
yeah.
experience. This should not be here because you're realizing that sometimes it's domination and control stepping in your way, um, and it's saying I want to change the experience in front of you, and I'm going to do it because I'm a big bully. And you're saying no, you're not a big bully anymore because I'm going to step into my power and I'm going to say no, this shit is not going to happen. Excuse my language, but that's the way you really put your foot down and you stand and firmly and you say no, I do not consent to this. And then the revocations do work, you know, um, that we write for ourselves or we've done the ones that Andrew put out, but a combination of everything. But it's got to be pure and it's got to come from your heart or it's not going to work. You can do all the denying you want and it's not going to really work for you.
I have
Because
a
you're
question
not,
about,
yeah, go ahead.
well, no, I always look at, while you were speaking, I always look at the flip side in that I also do that to other people. You know, I also stop their journey. I know I do. But I didn't know then what I know now. And so I do, in my way, I step back and say, when I'm ready to, oh no, do this, you know, I go, hold back. That's not yours. So I don't know. I just saw the flip side of that, because it is both. We do both. That's how
Yeah,
I see it.
you could be the tyrant, you know, in a
Right.
situation.
Right.
But now
Tyrant's
that
a
you're
little
growing,
harsh. I'm not tyrant. But you know, you always have to look at the flip side.
but it's not just with a person to person situation. It could be an environmental situation because I know that I have denied it in a specific environmental situation
What does
once.
that look like?
It just bypassed you. It's like, you know, the story in the Bible where the plague had, maybe Robin, you can help me here with when the plague came through the community and
and
the
it passed
Hebrews.
over certain places,
Yes,
right?
and they mark an X on
Yeah,
their
yeah.
home.
I believe that they put a blood
Yeah,
cross type of thing on it.
Lamb's blood.
yeah.
Yes, but I knew
So
it
it's
wasn't human.
like when the plague got to their home, it just bypassed their home. So that's
Mhm.
kind of how it works because in an environmental situation when I denied what was going on around me, whereas the rest of the community didn't do the work that I did, they felt the wrath of the situation, but I didn't. It just bypassed me. Because when I did that, I didn't claim for myself. I claimed for everything that was living in the environment, the space that was going to be disrupted. So I claim for everything that was there. You see? So that's how it works.
And also too, we can roll it into that same type of thing happening with your business,
Yes.
with clients coming to you, me finding a home, you know, money's flowing in. I mean, we can apply it to any type of
Yes.
thing. And that's why, you know, when we do those revocations, why they work if you do it from the heart, because what we're saying is we're saying, no, I don't want this in my field anymore. I'm, you know, but in doing that, you change your resonance, you change your frequency. And therefore, you know, you kind of put up the shield that doesn't allow those other things to come in. And like Lana was saying, it, you know, it passes over, you know, it bypasses you because you're not vibrating with it. So it doesn't want to stay with you because it doesn't support it, you know, and it has to feed on itself and it doesn't want to become less. So it passes you by because it doesn't want to be diminished.
Well, it's like you're slipping out of their frequency and you're slipping into a frequency that's more conducive to the universe. That is a more pleasant and harmonious to the Great Spirit. And so you're no longer in that space of domination and control.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I mean, this is really also about setting boundaries, right?
Yes.
In a way,
Yes.
saying
Yes.
no to, you know, things that are going to step on my journey, right? And then trying not to step on anyone else's journey as well,
Well, when
right?
you're coming from the heart, you're not stepping in anybody's journey. You're claiming it universally and from your heart space, and you're being humble about it. So the universe knows and responds in kind to you.
Hmm.
Because you came here for an experience, and why should you be denying experience because somebody else don't give a damn about you, right? Or what your thoughts are, what your environment should be, or what you're thinking.
That comes back to empowerment, right? Not letting somebody else take your experience. You empower yourself to
Yeah.
own your experience. Yeah.
Well,
This was reminding me of each of us remembering what our truth is amidst the truth of others, and recognizing we may be all living in the same reality, yet we each have our own truth. So, like how you shared your truth, like was different than your society's truth. No, not you, Cal. Um, so, like, are you talking to me? Like, no. Our truth can be different than the others, yet we could still live in the whole collective reality together. Yet this is my truth. I'm not accepting that truth. Or like, no, thank you. It doesn't serve me. Yet I could see how that truth affects you. And okay, that's your play. That's cool. But I'll opt out of that. Thank you very much. And I really like that reminder of going through the heart. It's the brick in the purse, but doing it with love, or like zero minus infinity, but doing it with love. Because if we don't come back to love, then we're just as bad as the others who are doing the other stuff. And then also how Amy shared, like, sometimes we've been on the other scope stuff, right? So that's why forgiveness practice is really good. Forgiving others, but then also forgiving ourselves. And sometimes others are showing up for us in this lifetime because who knows, maybe in another lifetime we were the other side of it. So sometimes just already offering forgiveness for ourselves and others to help clear that slate.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And one of the things too is like sometimes the denying of your experience in the here and now, sometimes it comes from a different lifetime, and that person or persons may come into your experience to deny you once again something you maybe should have not even have in this lifetime, but it would have been completed in the past lifetimes. but it's a cyclical thing that it comes back to you each time. So on purpose, it comes back through these beings to block you each time, each lifetime. So you stay suppressed and you can't grow. But now we know better. We can do better for ourselves. We can grow out of this nonsense and be empowered, and move on and move away from this. And by bringing our frequency higher, we bring the Earth Mother's frequency higher. We're lifting her up as we lift ourselves up, but not in hate and all that stuff that
So
goes with it, but through love, like Marissa was saying.
I don't want to cut you off, Lana, but I
Go
also
ahead.
wanted to say that sometimes it can be a family curse that has come down through the lines too. And we're here breaking it. So, you know,
Yes.
sometimes it's not us necessarily that we've done something wrong before, whatever. Sometimes it's just dealing with a situation that keeps getting passed on, and we've you know, resolved to come in here and say no to this, you know, lifetime, break that chain so that it can't. And when we do that, it kind of ricochets in all directions, you know, and it benefits us and everyone else too. But when you're dealing with that, it could be also curses or connected to family lines, and not necessarily us personally. So
Yes, yes. I agree with you, Robin, because then it comes down now to us to break all these ancient curses or
yes,
or
yeah,
karmas that been passed down from one generation to the next, and now it ends up in our lap. What are we gonna do with it? We empower ourselves and say, no, this shit's gotta stop right here. The buck stops here. It's not gonna continue anymore. So we empower ourselves now because this is the right time to do it, right? We're in a silver age now. Why not empower ourselves? Because in order for us to get to the golden age, which is not too far away, use the silver age to the best of your ability to do what you got to do for yourself and your ancestors. Let's do it, baby.
Well, and that's, it's coming up. It's coming up for everyone, right? Whether it's the individual stuff for this lifetime, whether it's the stuff from past lifetimes, whether it's the stuff from the ancestral lineage, right? All of those old emotions and fears and doubts and triggers are coming up to the surface for feeling and for healing, so we can move on to this golden age. And really, like what Amy was saying, right, about recognizing, flipping it and recognizing, right, when you're being overbearing to someone else, because really that goes back to our awareness is equal to our level of responsibility, right? Or our level of awareness has to equal that level of responsibility, right? So now you can say, oh, wait a minute, I'm aware that I should just be quiet right now, right? And let these two people having a conversation have their connection and moment that's enlightening and empowering and awakening them. And maybe I just stand back and hold space. Right?
Being aware,
Exactly. Yeah.
changing your behaviors, that is how we break the curse. We don't continue to perpetuate the way things were done before. We do empower ourselves, we stop it, and we choose differently. We choose love, right? Which sometimes love is just being that neutral observer and letting things take whatever role they're supposed to be without our infringement in it. One thing that I was going to make mention of too, listening to everybody go around talk about their empowerment exercises, what stood out to me was how naturally we all fall into creative heart space, right? We all do creative things as part of that, whether it's dancing, singing, playing the drum, doing artwork. I love Alfredo's food alchemy. We all do something really creative, and that's heart space love, is that creativity. And then we all go out in the sun and we walk and we do things that ground that in. And even if we're not necessarily aware that that's the process that we're doing, that's exactly what we're doing. We're opening that heart space and then we're anchoring it in. So I thought that was beautiful as I listened to everybody go around and talk about what they do. It's a similar pattern, and we all have some diversity in how we do it, which is important. But that really stood out to me.
So I recently had a deeper understanding of Andrew's catchphrase of with greater awareness comes greater responsibility, and with greater responsibility comes greater awareness. And we go, oh my gosh, what was I asking for? Oof. Yeah, I'm here. But it's like, yay, the awareness, but oof, the responsibility, and it's beautiful, but it's also whoa. Um, it's just like when you're aware, almost like you tend to have blinders on and act as if you don't know. So then with that awareness that there's that responsibility, and then I feel like each of us, whatever we're going through in our lives, or like I can tell what I'm going through in my lives, I feel like what's occurring in my microcosm is very important for me to recognize what is in resonance, what is not, and recognizing what key moves I'm making or I'm not making, because I feel like what's occurring in my microcosm is greatly now influencing the macro. If I allow this in this little inner bubble of mine, then I'm kind of saying it's okay over there. So being very mindful, heartful of what is allowed in this little container of my bubble, of my inner circle of reality, because what we allow in our like inner bubble, it's like what we consent to, don't disconsent to, is also occurring in the outer world. And just recognizing those ripples, that go, whoa.
One of the things I want to also add to what I said, which I didn't say, is that when you do the denial, you got to be persistent, because if you're not persistent, it will probably not act in your favor either. So you've got to do it for days, maybe. And each time you think about it or it comes up in your conscious thought, you deny it again and you claim what is yours. You claim your experience to be a different way and not the experience that is going to be presented to you as your final experience. So you be insistent and persistent about it. And then when you know that it is quite in your favor now, or the situation is over, then you know that you don't have to spend that energy anymore, like you did, to accomplish your empowerment of whatever the situation is.
I think you can feel a quietness when that happens. You know, the more it settles in with us as part of our new vibration. I think there's a quietness from the outside world. It's not bombarding you so much. You know, there's this sense of a peace in the world around you that maybe wasn't so evident before.
It's like a form of healing as well, you know? You know when the situation is healed. So
Absolutely.
you can move on from that. You know that situation has been accomplished in the best possible way. And as you guys are talking about, your knowledge is equal now to your responsibility. And sometimes your knowledge equaling to your responsibility is to just zip your mouth and keep your mouth shut. Not say anything at all.
Right, like Martina says, she gets a little tap on the shoulder that just says, "Quiet now, shut up now." Yeah, and I mean, I think that it's all you know connected to this also personal manifestation practices in our lives, right? That law of attraction, right? Doing the groundwork, right? So we can have that sacred space for ourselves, right? Whether it be clearing the bed, right? Clearing your bedroom, clearing energy, clearing your bathroom, right? Saying the prayers, setting the intentions, right? When you're cooking, when you're meditating, right? But setting up your space so you can have those experiences on a regular basis, right? And that's part of the daily practice, right? I think, and sometimes that goes, without saying, when you've gone through the process so often, so many times for such a long period of time, right? Where you are getting your space energetically clear so you can feel more empowered, right? And that's calling in what you want in your life for your greatest good. That's one of the things that, I'm always saying, please, help me understand what I need to understand, release what I need to release, right? Talking to my higher self and my spirit team, and, for my greatest good and the greatest good of all. Help me remember what I need to remember for my greatest good and the greatest good of everyone, right? And so I'm empowering and supporting myself, but also being grounded and present so I can help other people empower themselves as well through the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you said self-empowerment, it took me back to, well, where did it begin? We'll just talk about like this lifetime, but as a child, like think about how, as a child, what were our self-empowerments that led us up into this moment now? And it just was rolling through my mind of all the things that I can remember as a child that, I was taught from my mom and dad, or pictures that I remember that self-empowered me, or, even in school and everywhere that I went from up until now. And I thought, wow, that's empowerment. When you think about all the things that, as it started as a child.
That makes
I
me
don't think
think
as a
of,
child, I was always empowered as a child. It was a learned process for me. I wasn't the child that was always, I didn't even talk as a child. So to be here on Zoom, obviously I've done some work to be self-empowered and to be able to be on this Zoom. So I don't know, I was thinking about that. I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool.
think about just talking about childhood, right, and how we felt empowered. Makes me think of a situation I had when I was, I think, maybe in the 6th grade. I mean, when you're a teenager like that, there's always people who, try to manipulate you. And we were in a group of friends, and a lot of the girls were saying, oh, we don't like this girl. We don't think we should be friends with this girl anymore. And so I was like, but, I was kind of thinking, well, she's my friend. Like, I don't want to, discount her. I don't see any trouble with that. And so I asked my dad what he thought. And he said, I can't answer that question for you. You have to answer that question for yourself. Right. And so here I was, a little 11 or 12-year-old, saying, well, okay, what do I think? Right. This has to come from me and my heart, and I have to feel good about this decision. I don't need to go with the crowd if I still want to be friends with this person. And so that was, a kind of like a pivotal moment in my youth, where I could say, all right, yeah, this is my decision, right? I don't have to look to anyone else to tell me what to do in this case. And so I started, took that energy and ran with it, throughout my life, where I didn't let people make those decisions for me. And when they tried to make those decisions for me, I would get very angry and very upset, right? And I mean, sometimes there's instances, of course, when you're a youth, that your parents have to make decisions for you, or a health practitioner, has to make a decision. But, really overall, I've taken that and run with it in my life, and it's served me very well.
Mhm.
I remember being 14 and telling my parents that I wasn't going to go to church anymore. And they're very devout Catholic, but I couldn't do it anymore. And it took a lot for me to stand up to them and put my feet down. But honestly, once I did, my dad tried to shame and guilt me about it, but they really never tried to force me after that.
It's very interesting listening to you, because how old were you, Amy, when you started to talk? Do you remember?
Well, I talked at school. I didn't talk at home. I remember my mom even saying, I think she needs to go to a psychologist because there's 6 siblings above me. So there was really no need. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. But she did make, she helped me in that way. Like, you have to call Auntie and tell her thank you for the birthday money and stuff. So how nervous that was to get on a phone and talk, to an adult, thinking it's an authority, but I have to thank my mom for like kind of pushing me that way. Otherwise I wouldn't be where I am today.
Well, the reason I asked is each one of you have said something that's kind of triggered me. So I hope you don't mind I put this in there, but I was probably about 4 before I started talking. And then, believe it or not, I'm only very boisterous when I'm with people I feel comfortable, I feel I can. And I don't know the social rules very well. I really strip away the social rules in that respect. And sometimes somebody will say something and I kind of like shut down because I think, wow, you went way too far over. And yet it's the only way I can really be. It's like, no, there's no 2 ways. It's either I feel comfortable and it just happens, or else I'm like this. But I learned probably by the 3rd grade that if you got 3 females together, someone was going to be targeted. Mm-hmm. And so I, for my whole life, until my later adult years, would have maybe 1 or 2 friends, but rarely was it 3 people together. I just learned that it didn't work that way. It's now I see there's a difference in the female community, in the female, and a lot of you are so much younger than I am. You came up in this different energy. And then Jen, you said something too. But it's like, I had teenage parents when I came along. They were 17 and I was the 2nd one. They didn't have any skills. And I was so different from my mom. My mom, she called me awful, ugly, horrible names. And, even as an adult, so life for me has not been easy, and talking with people has not been easy. And I found that the most comfortable position I was in was when I was in a group and I could talk to them. It was very hard for me to be in a group and be part of a conversation. I didn't know how to do that. And there are many times people will say things and I feel myself slapping myself, for having stepped out of line. But talking in a group as a member, as a participant, is very, very hard for me to do. I don't always understand it. And so learning to be okay with coming on here and, disregarding of what might happen, it takes a lot, Amy. It takes a lot to do this. It really does. And what comes out isn't my brain. It's what's flowing through me from all of myself. So it's not like Robin sits here and say, Robin knows everything. Because when I go join something, I always feel like I'm at the bottom of the barrel, always. It doesn't matter whether it's art or anything. It's just the way it is. So being in a content like this where we're speaking more as a group, it's a very challenging, very hard thing for me to do. So
I would never know that.
No, me neither.
Thank you for sharing that. And Amy too. Yeah. I would never ever know by the way both of you interact here that was scary or troubling.
Yeah.
For you.
Very
so
scary.
great job at feeling empowered to share that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can step into the teacher role. I can step into the leader role. that doesn't faze me. I can just do that, you know, but there's a different dynamic, you know.
Well, and I think, you know, Cynthia kind of mentioned it earlier where she was saying she was like nervous and afraid to be more out there, right? To put herself more out there. And I mean, I think we've all gone through that on some level, right? So
And that's, I think,
knowing that we have tools to move through it, right?
and the comfort zone, again, talking about, you know, it's like, I really had to push myself, or, you know, people had to, like, you can do this, like having the support of people is important to me. Like, you know, to be able to say, no, you can do this. I mean, I had to make speeches in front of, I worked with autistic kids. I did their camp and they wanted me to speak at this, you know, thing that was going on. And it was like, my name, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, but I've never done this before. Like, but that's, and then I'm here today. Like, there's no way that I could have done that if they didn't they didn't give me the confidence. It was more just like support. And then I'm like, okay, what worse can it be? You know, you flub up your words. I mean, you know, it's almost like, you know, but I always thought, like, well, what if I say something stupid, or what if I say, you know, all those judgments that you have, you know. So
For me,
yeah,
breaking
this is
all the social class.
the what?
I said, for me, breaking all the social rules and etiquettes and things. Yeah, I think it's both being on that autistic spectrum, you know, higher levels. But yeah, I think that's why it was easier to be teacher, leader, whatever, because it removed you from that energy a little bit. You know, you could kind of be out of it, but still. And the support system, I'm telling you, in the last 3 years, it's been hard finding it.
Mhm.
You know, one of the things you're talking, Amy, but it takes a lot to be brave to get on these shows. So one of the things, you know, I tell myself, like, well, if the whoever, you know, is listening and passing judgments, like, if you're so brave and if you know so much, why you not on the show?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, come on, guys, come on.
And that brings in some comfort right there, because like you said, sometimes you wonder, like, am I going to say something stupid that's not going to make sense, or you say something that is incorrect, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes a lot to do these Zoom calls, but we're a support team. We support each other,
Yeah.
and so it works out.
Hopefully we'll get to meet each other one day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have a drum circle and a
Yeah.
a nice fire pit, and do some dancing and some drumming. And,
Yes.
yeah.
That would be awesome.
2035 or 2050.
Oh, wow. I was thinking 2020.
I'm already too much.
I'm gonna be 80 about that time, girl.
I know. I was gonna say 2023. I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'll
no,
still be
I was just
alive, though.
I was just going by the dates that Andrew threw out here recently. 2030, 2025 was one date, 2035 was the other date, and 2050 was the other date, the third date. He used to say 2053, but now I keep hearing him say 2050. So I think we're getting closer to meeting.
I believe that the whole solar system is going to be in alignment with the photon belt in 2038 is
2038.
my understanding. Yeah.
Mhm.
What's
That,
gonna
I mean, we're
happen?
still, you know, the sun is completely in alignment with the photon belt right now, but still the planets are orbiting, you know, somewhat outside
Yeah.
of that. So I
Can you
think by
break that down?
2038. So if you
What's the
think about,
photon belt? First of all, what's the photon belt? And then what does that mean when it's aligned with that?
so there's something called the precession of the equinoxes, right? Where the solar system has its own elliptical around the galaxy.
Mhm.
And within that, right, the whole solar system is moving Okay, if you think of like the constellations, right? The solar system is moving in a way through those constellations. And now as we're coming into this golden age, the photon belt is an alignment of stars and also an alignment to the galactic center. It's almost like if you see that light above my head,
Mhm.
right? It's almost like that, right? Where the solar system kind of goes like this. And then it's now all of a sudden in alignment, and now the sun's in alignment, but the rest of the solar system isn't quite in alignment, right? With
Mm.
this light coming from the galactic center. And when we're in alignment, which are during the ages of Aquarius and during the ages of Leo, then we have these golden ages. So now we're going into, right, we're in the silver age right now, right? Because we're not quite in the golden age. We're maybe like that, the whole solar system, right? So now when 2038, the whole solar system will be within alignment of that full photon belt and be able to receive more light codes. But also what happens then is we're in alignment with other planetary systems that are always in that photon belt, right, as opposed to spiraling outside of it. So we
Mm.
have more direct connection to the star system in the Pleiades, Alcyon. That star is always fully in the photon belt, which why Pleiades are sort of like our galactic parents. Right?
If I can share it one other way, Amy, the way I like to think about it, because words, especially English words, sometimes lose me. You know, people say words and I get lost. But the way that I've been shown is like the galaxy is spinning in itself, and we're a solar system, and we kind of go up through it and down through it. And so we're passing through that photon belt of the galaxy, you know? So this galaxy is spinning and we're kind of going up through it, and our path is 26,000 years. And so we go into the different ages, but it changes our weather, it changes, you know, the electromagnetic forces, it changes everything, but it allows us to have that resonance increase and, you know, awaken our humanity a little bit more too. So it really is a cosmic action, kind of like getting in your car and you're going along and all of a sudden you get to the big city and you have to go through the city to get to where you want to go, you know, and the only way you can get there is to go through that city, right? And you only get there if you go through the city, or you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
It's like the equator of the galaxy.
Yeah. I
So
saw that
when
as
you
a
get
belt.
exactly
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
equator range, right? It's like
yeah,
leaving New York City, and then you get to Chicago when you're in the equator,
Ah.
and then you go back down, you go up, you're in below, and you go up, you get to Chicago, and then you go down, and you get to LA.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is saying, Tanya said it, you know, everybody has a different network or frequency that they can understand. And so when we say it a different way, it's not to take away from what someone else
No,
has
of course
said
not.
or
Yeah.
how they can interpret it. But by saying it in your way, you allow then everybody who's resonating with your frequency to get a better standing and then increase their own frequency. So by everybody sharing it in their way, you allow all of those that are in your frequency thing to benefit from it too. So it's, you know, the more that say it in their frequency, the more as a group we can help the whole, you know, as well as ourselves. So
Yeah, I agree with that because yeah, I'm more of like, maybe this goes back to, you know, as a child, but I put pictures in my mind of the belt, like I do a belt and then the world, and then, oh, okay, now I'm getting the picture, like I draw it out in my mind with the words.
Mhm.
But yes, I agree. definitely, I learn different and hear differently. So getting all
So
those was great.
So sometimes it's we speak and we aren't always aware that we're offering light codes, and we may be offering words. Yeah, sometimes it's not really our words that's carrying the message, it's the energy behind whatever we're saying. And somehow it's just like the words that is the transporter, but the message is received beyond that. It's almost like pretending telepathic message in a sense. And on one of those, like somehow the words are going to activate it. Yeah, it may not necessarily be the words, it's just the energy behind us that is activating that.
Exactly, Marissa. I mean, that can go even to
Yeah.
when you text people, the intent behind your text. They can feel that. People can feel that. Yeah. Or letters or whatever you're writing to people. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. I think that's really a great point too, because that is the basis of what we are. We're this cosmic being that has gone through many levels of adaptation and change in order to be holographically represented in this 3D realm. And so we are multi-level, multi-dimensional, because we couldn't be here if we weren't. And so it's very interesting. It's like last night I could not sleep. Yesterday afternoon I fell asleep and took a nap. It's been so warm here, and I haven't had the AC hooked up, and I just could not sleep all night long, and I just kept thinking about this Zoom, and I'm going, what is just this Zoom, Robin? But it just, I could feel everybody's energy congregating, and it was like, oh, what? And it was all connected back to this, because all of you were anchoring your energies into it, and I could feel you all, and it was kind of like you're at the party 16 hours before it started. It's like, how can I laugh until the party gets here? I'm going to be burned out.
We're setting up the tables, mixing the punch.
Yeah.
Putting the streamers up.
Exactly.
Making those special brownies, girl. Sorry.
I'll take one. At night, not during the day.
Where are you at, Robin?
Myself, I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh,
3 years.
for some reason I thought you were in the Southwest.
Actually, I went to after my incident with the stalker, I went to Arizona. I landed in Sedona, and I was up in the airport up by some of the vortex areas.
Yeah.
And I was there for about a week, and I said, I can't do very many of these nights, because it was like $100 and some a night, right? It was a beautiful little cabin resort type of thing. But I went down the hill west, 17 miles into Cottonwood. And I was there for 6 months, and I was on the list to get an apartment building that was being built. And I had been approved one of the apartments, but they kept delaying the opening of it. So I kept having to find a temporary place to live. And so I stayed there for about 6 months, and then I couldn't find anywhere. And I said, I'm sorry, you're going to have to let somebody else have the apartment. I have no place else to live. But amazing things happened there. I mean, and experiences, and oh my goodness, I have to say this, hummingbirds. Never in my life have I seen hummingbirds like I saw there. The first place I rented, it was a room in a house, and the common areas were all, for the people who had rooms. But I had my own little porch off my bedroom, and outside, it was like the backside of the house, and there would be hundreds of hummingbirds going like beams of light, like Amy and everybody was saying, how, and I love that sun energy. But I would just sit there watching them eating the bugs in the beams of light, and it was, wow, they exist like this. I'm thinking, you get one or two here, there, and clusters and clusters, like clouds of hummingbirds. Amazing experiences while there, and I got to see the cliffs. I can't remember the names, but anyway, there was a lot of Indian things there. I knew lots of them. One of my best buds there was a Native American who was an archaeologist. I mean, I really got to be embraced by my dad's different cultures. So it was a wonderful experience. And then I went back to Florida. I grew up in the Midwest, and I was in Florida for many years, from the mid 80s until the banks crashed in 2008 and 9. So, and then I was back there a couple of times. So I'm a kind of a transplant here, and I'm hoping to stay, but you know, the way housing is, I don't know. And I only have like 3 weeks in this house before I have to do the court thing. So any prayers to help me align with my new home that's waiting for me?
Well, you could say you do not consent for you to be denied the
I like
home
that.
that is there. Okay. And you keep insisting on that every day. That's your experience to have in your new home. And therefore, you cannot be denied the experience.
I love
And-
it.
And you hold on to that each day until the experience is materialized in front of you of that
Yeah,
new home.
I'm sorry. Usually I'm pretty good with manifesting things like that, but you know, it's been a tough last 6 months here with the house and the bank and all that. So I appreciate.
Well, obviously something is cock blocking you. That's why it's taking so long, you know?
Yeah,
There
I
are
was
things
thinking I
being
was.
thrown in your way to stop you and delay you and make your life more miserable.
I was
And,
thinking I was doing it to myself, Lana. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Something I'd like to share, something I was reminded of recently when we are attempting to manifest. It's very good to be clear and clear our spaces and release clutter and release that which we no longer need. So it's a reminder to myself as well. And I've been in the process of undoing and like, oh, I don't need this. I haven't needed this for years. So just like as we're attempting to manifest and bring forth new, making sure we're releasing old. Sometimes that's a belief, you know, and releasing non-serving beliefs that are keeping us from getting what we need. But and I'm talking to myself as I'm speaking aloud, you know, just releasing what we need to release to allow in. So, like when we're attempting, especially to manifest, okay, what am I accidentally holding on to as an anchor that might not be serving me?
Yeah, that's really good too, Marissa, because we do that. And I know that when I came with a single little 4x4 trailer, and but still, you know, you collect things while you're somewhere just to kind of fill spaces sometimes too. You know, give yourself something extra to do. So it's always a good reminder to clear our emotions, our physical spaces, things, maybe something that someone has given you that, you know, they had a negative intent on, or was just negative in themselves, you know. So that's really good, because all of those, going back to the empowerment, help us re-empower ourselves instead of giving it away. Just as Lana was saying too.
I want to say something else, is that sometimes the apartment that you're looking for is already available to you, but, and I'm saying but, the individual who is still living in that apartment is refusing to leave on whatever account that they are issued, that they want to remain there much longer than they should be remaining there. So find a way how you can work with that situation and help to facilitate that person's realization why they should move out of there, because you've been waiting for that space for so long already, and you're now being denied that experience. So they're occupying a space that you should be experiencing right this very moment already.
I think you're right. I just tried to call a landlord, and there's somebody who was supposed to move out over a month ago, and she was supposed to get back to me and hasn't. And yeah.
So there are delays there that sometimes that person is just, you know, being an ASS to themselves, and the you know, and they just don't want to make that effort sometimes they're being lazy. They don't want to make the effort to get out of where they're at. You know, seen situations like that, and that's why I'm bringing it up here. So find a
Then there's
way
some
in your own uh, way of maybe writing some kind of affirmation and denial down to help to facilitate that individual or group of people to open up that space because it's already yours and they should not be there anymore. You know, stealing away your experience from you. Why should you be
recognizing
miserable?
also there's also sometimes things going on beyond our awareness in the unseen. And sometimes it's their stuff, sometimes it's our stuff, you know, and
Mhm.
we're not always aware of what it is. But sometimes just doing our part of our clearing because and are lining up. But sometimes it's like we feel with our mental mind that that's ours, but sometimes it's like this thing is not going to work. Sometimes it's like this scenario is not going to work out because they're trying to point you over here in this other direction. So recognizing sometimes that what it is, and sometimes it's not the funnest ride to be on, but sometimes being aware, sometimes what we want to think, oh, that's it, that's it right there. Maybe it is, but sometimes it doesn't work out because it's trying to point us somewhere else. And
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Maybe that isn't the spot for you.
Yeah,
There's
sometimes.
there's so many, you know, avenues you can go down.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to go to another state. Maybe you don't even supposed to be there. Like ask.
Well, and one of the things that was just popped in for me is that you know you were talking about the stalker that you had previously in your previous space and the trauma that that caused, right? And also the trauma of having young parents, right, who you didn't feel held up by, right, created this fear around home. Like what is home for you? But I just want to say that now those things aren't a part of your vibrational frequency match anymore. But they're still holding in the nervous system. So, you know, if you think about doing that, I mean, like the visualizations from the advanced heart meditation, where you're using that sparkly golden light to clean your pericardium and to clean your heart, you can also do that with your nervous system to help flush out that old trauma because it's not a vibrational frequency match for the future you, right? It doesn't need to hold in your body anymore.
I love that visual. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, and again, of course, home is always here, right? We don't need anyone else to define that for us because we define that for us. You know, the phrase home is where the heart is. Yes, yes. I mean, you hear that and hear that and hear that, and it sounds cliche, but it is. It's within the center of the heart portal. It's where our direct connection is. And when we're
Here's another
grounded and anchored in that, we always feel at home.
there's a saying that goes like this: the place you're looking for is looking for you.
Hmm.
That's a good one.
So what you're looking for is also looking for you. So when you find it, it'll be a perfect match. And as the girls were saying before that, it maybe it's not the place that you think is going to be for you is perhaps not the place you ought to be right now. So you keep a really wide open mind about any place because the Great Spirit knows where you need to be right now. And that place is already secured for you. So these are some of the things, you know, you keep in mind and work with the thoughts like that.
Yes.
And we know all of us here is going to empower Robin to find the home that is perfect for her right now. Right, Robin?
and
Yes, yes. And I'm going to change the word find to walk into or accept or say yes to. because if find means I'm still going to be looking. I don't want, so
Yeah.
except for that one word, I agree. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Welcome me home. It's welcome me home.
Mhm.
I think that
And
was
then
one of the, what after, just 1 second, and I'll let you go on. The stalker influenced my own perception for me. And so I've been wrestling with exactly what Lana, you were saying. Not knowing which place would be better area for me, and so it's, yeah. Y'all are doing very good today. I really, it touches my heart. Don't make me cry.
so I was just being reminded, it's a good reminder when we have desires that are not met to not get lost in our unmet desires. So to remember, it's also a good reminder to have gratitude practices for all the things that are going on, that are good, that are supportive, that are in alignment. Because I have unmet desires, and sometimes I could see those things like, oh, I don't have this, yeah, you know. But like when we see the whole picture, then it's just like, dude, what the hell am I crying about? And not necessarily, I might not be crying, but I might be a little bit of my inner kid might be whining, like when I want this,
Yep.
but dude, got that, I got that, I got that, I got that, I got that. Like, come on, like what? Like, chill out. So sometimes it's like putting us in our place, and it's like, have you given value to all these things? Have you appreciated all these things? So I'm talking to myself as well, not just to somebody else, but like I've gotten notice that this is a time for me for celebration, which is, and part of me go like, you kidding me, right? As things are crumbling all around, and like disentangling, but it's from awareness and responsibility. So it's just like a little humorous, but then it's the reminder to have gratitude for all the good, even the insights, even the awareness, even the pulling away from stuff. So shedding light on, okay, yeah, that's true, but where's the silver lining in it? So or not, or where's the golden light, even not just the silver lining. So for me, I've been reminded a lot to go into gratitude because I have unmet desires, but then there's also so much more that I can give thanks for is already awesome.
Yeah. Very
Thank
good.
you.
You're
Yeah.
talking about yourself, but I'm hearing myself through you. So it's kind of cool to get that
Yeah.
experience.
I love it when that happens.
Yeah.
That's the way it is though, because we experience ourselves through the others as they speak, and like Amy was saying, I do the same thing Amy does. When somebody's speaking, I'm always applying it to me, and especially the negative or the deficits, I'm always saying, okay, well, where does that apply to me? And so I think you're right on, Alfredo. I think that's one of the things that make us cherish people, because we can live through them and experience ourselves through them and their experiences.
Eh,
I do have to share something it's kind of quirky, but I'm going to share it. This morning when you were talking about, this is for everybody too. This is it's self-empowerment. So I'm looking at the Thomas's English muffin. Okay, the container that it comes in, right? I never read them before. I just get it out and so I'm waiting for it to toast, and I'm reading the package, and it says, "Wake up to what's possible." I'm like, what? Whoa, okay, wake up to what's possible. Yes. Okay. And then it says the secret to nooks and crannies perfection. Like I was thinking of the picture I got was like all the little nooks and crannies, even the ones that we don't see or don't like. They're perfect. They're perfect. All of our nooks and crannies are perfect. That's what I got from Thomas's English.
Well, messages come through any way that they can. So.
Right? I love it though. That's like when I get so excited and like, yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So I had to share that Robin, wake up to what's possible tomorrow.
Well,
I love those positive affirmations.
What'd
all
you
of
say?
this. Go ahead.
I was gonna share, but it was nothing big. But I was just like, I love those positive affirmations that come out of like seemingly nowhere or unexpected places. I just saw some tagging recently that I forget what it said. Some positive thing, like, oh my gosh, that's the best tagging ever. It's just it's graffiti, but it's a positive message. Oh my God, what's happening?
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Did
Yeah.
anybody see the young boy playing the violin, the Chopin that Amir shared yesterday?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. After 2 notes, I'm like sitting in some room with the piano player and the violin, like ages ago, it's like literally, I felt like I was sitting in another time and space during that whole thing. It was, whoa. And Marissa, I mean, like, talk about turning wheels or clicking things, or, it's like, it was totally, I don't know, kind of, it almost felt like you were going back in time and you had a chance to experience it again, but on a different level, and bring that beauty of it forward to here.
Well, what I was noticing when he was playing the violin was the emotions on his face. It was changing as he was playing different notes, and he was really serious about it.
He was
So my focus was on his face.
Yeah, I saw that too. And he was just so connected with his instrument. Like he was one with that. I
Yeah.
mean, oh my God, it did take me back in time. It was like the Gilded Age or something. It was like in the drawing room. I don't know. It's like, wow.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
It was like you had gone to his home and you were in Chopin's home and you were in that room that they had gathered to come and listen to this new composition that he made. Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember one time the piano player, he turned and he was looking at the boy, and he was waiting for that exact moment when he had to jump back in. And I thought that was really interesting and cool. Yeah.
Each note seems so deliberate and so placed. I mean, every note he made was a deliberate move. It didn't seem like anything was by accident.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful.
And we don't have ascended masters on Earth, but we have these guys.
No, but they overlight us on the higher timeline, and we can hear and feel messages from them for sure.
Yep.
So one of the things that came up for me yesterday, Amy is talking about messages from the Thomas's English muffin. Well, 2 days ago, Olivia Newton-John passed away, and so all kinds of people were talking about her and what an influence she was on their life and the music. And so I listened to the song Magic yesterday, and the words are, we have to believe we are magic, nothing can get in our way, right? And there's something also about her saying, I'll be here to guide you. And I was thinking, yes, she will. She's going to be on the other side, because we are all magic AF. And here we are, creating this beautiful community where we can all share, and that's magic within itself. And so I just feel that power flowing, flowing and opening, and yeah, maybe in some way we all are way showers, right? Cutting a path with a machete through the jungle so other people can follow, right? Holding that space for ourselves and helping all of us feel magically empowered.
Yep.
Oh, love that. Yeah.
Well, we're already
I remember.
lighting the way.
Sorry.
We're
Go ahead,
already
Rose.
lighting the We're already lighting the way in the sense that in society's training that we accidentally received and got cootie like energy, and that's from the women in their circles that they used to have, where it was all gossip and da da da. like, look at this. Like, I mean, there's men here, and I'm thankful for the men, and they as they come, but like being other women's, and we're not trying to chop somebody else down. We're all trying to empower the other and uplift another and speak in a good way about good things versus the old rabbit hole, of previous existence. So, hey to us.
Mhm.
And sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
Power, power.
And I think with that self-empowerment, sorry, Lana, just one
fine.
one thing, with that self-empowerment, right, it also comes with being kind and gentle to ourselves. And this is one of the self-empowerment practices that I've been doing for the last, 15 years, is when the negative thoughts and feelings come up, just saying, no, no, thank you, not today. Put my hand on my heart and I say, I love and accept myself completely. And of course, if it's emotions that I need to process, they come up for processing, but I try not to be hard on myself, right? I try not to judge myself for what I'm thinking, for what I'm feeling, for things that I run into, right? For getting angry. If all of a sudden anger comes up, I try not to get angry about me being angry. So that's been a really great empowerment practice. And now I don't, very rarely have negative thoughts and feelings of myself come up, which has been really empowering. And when they do, I can recognize them and say, oh, oh, Tanya, listen to the way you're thinking about yourself. No, not today. I love and accept myself completely. I love and accept myself completely.
Those are great things, especially when you react to certain situations like I was sharing, because it really is like saying no, but it's not like making anyone wrong. You're not making yourself wrong. You're not making the other person wrong. You're just saying, no, I don't want to be part of this energy and allow it to go forward anymore. So that really is a very powerful everyday in the moment tool that you can use.
Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna say was that I remember when you're talking about Olivia Newton-John, when the movie Grease came out, and I asked my dad to buy us the LP. Of course, the younger generation wouldn't know what I'm talking about, but the record, and we used to play it all the time on the record player. And one of my favorite songs of hers was "Hopelessly Devoted to You." And I used to play it and sing along. It was such a fun sing along album. So yeah, I really enjoyed listening to her music.
I had a beautiful emerald princess plant that I just bought at a nursery for like 20 some dollars, which was outrageous back then. And I named it Olivia after her. Had Olivia for a long time.
I actually, the movie was on 2 days ago, Grease, and it was actually on, and we watched it again. So I was reminiscing of, the music and everything, and how she was so pretty, and and just so perfect in the movie. So it was nice to reminisce and rewatch her life from back then.
Oops.
I remember I liked Grease too a lot. And there's a song in there called Reproduction. And I remember being, I don't know, 7, 8 years old in the back seat of the car singing it with my parents in the front. And I remember both of them turning around and looking at me like, what the hell have you been watching? Really inappropriate for that.
Her voice when she was singing with the music, especially for, and Xanadu wasn't bad either, but in Greece, there just seemed to be music that her voice just spoke to the world, and I think that's one of those things where, we were saying before that everybody can see it a little different way, and it's not discounting, it's putting a bigger spectrum for more to attach into. I think she really, with those songs, her singing it, and it just, you know, it doesn't matter the age, that they're going to talk to people, you know, as long as her music can be heard. And, you know, and those are things that we really, you know, can lift a person's heart, bring that joy back.
Music is good for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And laughter.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, thinking about what makes us laugh, right? Laughter clears your energy field, helps you open up, right, to that joy
But you
within
know what?
yourself.
One of the
I like
things
to
when I
just
was
laugh about myself. Oh, go ahead, Lana. Never mind.
when I was watching the movie Grease, and I was watching John Travolta in the movie, and I got to thinking about um, now Olivia Newton-John has passed away. He has lost his son and he's lost his wife, I think. And I'm thinking to myself, how sad he must be feeling right now to lost all those people that he loved so much in his life, you know.
Who was that?
John Travolta,
He lost two?
he
I didn't
lost
catch.
his son. He lost his son.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think he lost his wife during COVID.
Oh, really?
sometime.
That part I hadn't heard.
I
I
believe
thought I
so.
misheard you.
Yeah, and now you know, he made the movie Grease with Olivia Newton-John. Now she's gone. So, I mean, people that you love so much and you spend so much time with, you know, they're all kind of fading out of your reality.
It happens to all of us,
Yeah,
right? And that's part of the journey of humanness.
right.
Yeah.
But you know, we're moving in that space now where a lot of people are disappearing from our reality.
And
So
people
it's
are also having paranormal experiences with those who have crossed over, which is also a different level of experiencing those that have crossed over, which is pretty interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the veil is thinner. And
Yes.
for me, in my practice, I'm seeing more clients who have had recently lost a loved one who is now cycling in to be sort of like a starter guide for them so they can communicate because they know that being, they know that person from the physical, and so it's an easier transition, right, for them to be able to communicate with that person as a guide. It's sort of like a touchstone with the other realm.
Right. I did experience that with a few friends that I know, like where their loved one that crossed over, in one instance a kid, in another instance a partner, another instance another kid, where these people that have crossed over and their continued connections to them are their anchor point into the unseen and into the, like, recognizing it does continue and having this being that letting them know of this other. So it's almost like the bridge point, and then they're being that bridge point to them. So sometimes, like there's various reasons why various things happen, right? And including death, or the death at the end, you know. But like it's just a continuing. But that might be a whole nother show.
This is the end, my faithful friend, the end. So speaking of the end, we're getting to the 11 o'clock or the 2 hour mark. Is there anything, any closing statements or anything you want to leave with?
So I would say it's just super important for everybody. You know, we got, chores or things we got to do. Got to pay the bills, got to do this. It's important to cultivate your joy and your happiness whenever you can. For me, it's always a priority first thing in the morning, where the kids get up, where everybody gets up, where the energy starts swirling around. It's like, get out there, breathe, run, meditate, just cultivate as much well-being and bliss as I can before I take on the day. Because my high vibration, cultivate that bliss and just like, yeah, just feeling good. And it's like, bam, ready to dominate the day, just It's important to cultivate that bliss, and it'll get your flow going. And then you can be like, all right, I'm feeling good. I got my runs done. I took the dog out. I did this. I did that. Whoa, let's go pay them bills. Let's go do this. Just ride that momentum, So I just want to say it's important to cultivate your bliss and your joy. It's a priority, And then I want to say also too, just as far as like words go, because like last week I was concerned. I was like, oh, what if I say some stupid shit and Amir and David and Andrew call me out, and there's like put me on a show like, oh, we got people in the spiritual community running their mouths. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If I say some stupid shit and they catch on to it, good. I just gave them material for them to work with. So whatever. I just like not afraid to just speak, just say what you gotta say, just. And if you step in a lie, you say some stuff, well, at least it's in your awareness now. You said it, you did it, now you're aware of it because it got put on blast, So I just want to say that, don't be afraid to speak or.
That's awesome, Alfred.
I'll leave on that,
Love it. Thank
I
you.
love it.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good way to put it, Alfredo. Give them material to work with because they do run out of material.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one thing that I kind of thought of too, and I know we kind of mentioned it before, but it reminded me of one of the first teachers I had, and well, not first, I guess the third one, because it was level 2 Reiki, but I'd already did level 1 twice, 10 years apart. And an art teacher, and they both had said, we were talking about the symbols because, in the second level, you learn the symbols. And then in the third level, you learn how to, do the initiation. And I remember, someone or somehow the idea of not making the symbols the same way or a little bit different. And I remember, I think it was, we were learning about Staccato and making the symbols differently. And she said, if you make the symbol differently, instead of chastising yourself, understand that for whatever reason, that person that you're working with right now needed that symbol to be altered in that way for them. And so even when we think that we're making a mistake, and even though we think that we're saying the wrong thing or whatever, it may be, and probably is exactly what someone needs to hear or to feel. And so those things, are there to help someone else and maybe nudge them into a healthier frequency.
And I would say too, Alfredo, that as long as you're coming from a place of authenticity and love, which you are, there's no wrong thing to be said. They're not going to call you out on anything. They're going to cheer you on for speaking your truth. And when you get into non-judgment and objectivity, all perspectives are valid. So everything that you say has merit and validity.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that we say is a vibrational frequency match for someone.
Yes,
Someone.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. We might not know that person, and that person might see this 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 2 years from now.
And from my point of view, to share something, I just want to express gratitude for all of you because I love Wednesday lunchtime, which is lunchtime for me here, because I love to hear what all of you have to say and your perspectives. It really helps me.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
Feel the same
Thank
way.
you, Jen.
Love your beautiful drawings. They're inspiring as fuck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Where is the one that I created for you with the butterfly? Do you have it in your office there?
Aww.
Oh, that's nice.
Very nice.
I had drawn a butterfly and Lana paired it with the transcription from Andrew. It's very special, so it hangs right next to my monitor, so I see it every day.
Yeah,
Sweet.
read it off so we can close our day with it. What's on there was Andrew talk about the butterfly clan.
Okay, it says, in a short time, the center of the universe will once again face Mother Earth. When the two-legged see the Hanubku during the first nighttime sky of the fifth world, many will see the great vast expanse of nothingness. Minds will wonder at the facts of nothingness. In nothingness, something is born. My personal medicine of friend butterfly comes forward to ask all people to see the many realms of the dream weave now coming into focus. Whole new realms of exploration are within our grasp. It will take thinkers, mathematicians, atheists, scientists, philosophers, Hindus, Muslims, Jewish, Buddhists, Native American, and the rainbow warriors of the fifth world to come together as families, clans, states, nations, and all of mankind to manifest peace, unity, and harmony when we heal our Earth Mother as complete beings, recycling the gifts of life.
Aho.
And
Oh,
as we all sit around the
beautiful.
fire at Earth Nouveau Hub, and all of the beings sitting with us are witnessing that and hearing that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Until we
Thank you,
meet
everybody.
again, have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Thanks.
It's great to be with all of you.
Love you.
Later, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.